Good afternoon, everyone. This is Adam Schaefer, your professor for Theater 2020. I know it's been quite a while. It's been almost a month or more than a month since you saw me. Um, so, hello again. And I thought that this would be a little bit easier uh, with respect to disseminating information and heading into these final weeks. This is probably a more direct way for me to connect with you all. Uh, the agenda for today is very, very brief, but I do have some critical pieces of information before I kind of introduce you and orient you to. I don't know if we're going to call it a lecture this week. There is a PowerPoint this week focused on the conventions and characters, most importantly, of Commedia dell'arte, which I hope will help you all understand and appreciate the fourth and final performance that you all will be seeing for this semester. Before we get there, though, I just want to offer some reminders slash announcements. Number one with a bullet, is that there are still 9 of you, and right now it's 1 p.m. on Monday, so I haven't checked my email in a couple of hours, but there are still 9 of you that have not provided your email address or your mailing address so that you can receive the refund checks that are coming to you because of the final ticket that you bought for this semester for 9 circles. The deadline for that is Wednesday. I implore you, hopefully, to not wait until then to email me. If you do not provide your information to me by Wednesday, I'm going to send all the information I have over to Courtney, and I honestly don't know how the refunds are going to work after that, if they even will work. So please, if you want your $32, and I suspect that most of you do, please send that information along to me, and I will send it along to Courtney. So that's item number one. Number two, the final examination for this week, or rather the final project for this semester, I should say, is going to be posted by the end of the week. I've kind of said over the last several weeks that I'm still trying to work through how this exam is going to work. The final project in the past has been a presentation, and so I'm trying to figure out ways to simulate the work that has been done in the past without the sort of presentation element. It will be group work. You'll be in groups of probably 5 or 6. Because it is group work and because of the situation in our world right now, it is your responsibility to make sure that you have good email access and that D2L is pretty reliable for you. You're going to be exchanging information with your group. You're going to be collaborating. You're going to be having, quote, conversations. I'm going to leave it up to you all to figure out how you have those conversations, whether it's on D2L, whether it's on text, whether it's on email, whatever that is. Just make sure that you are in a place, both technologically but also otherwise, to just be prepared to do this work, because that's going to be basically what we're going to be doing for the last 2.5 or 3 weeks of the semester. And I'll talk more about that next week. And if there's questions, do not hesitate to let me know. The due date for performance response number, well, it's really 2. Those of you who are writing a performance response to Julius Caesar, it is due by the end of the day on Wednesday the 15th. If you wrote a response for the theory of everything, or you are writing a response for 9 circles, you still must view the production. It's a fabulous production. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, I hope you at least get through it. And again, for those of you not writing a response for Julius Caesar, you have to answer a discussion question as sort of an acknowledgement that you saw the production, but also kind of as a replacement for the fact that we don't really have a mechanism for in-person discussion for the production. So I need to hear from y'all. That Dropbox is on D2L. Let me know if you have questions. Again, the deadline for both the discussion question, again, for those of you who wrote on Theory of Everything or are writing for 9 circles, is due on Wednesday. And the performance response, for those of you who are writing one for Julius Caesar, is also on Wednesday. Okay, that was a lot of information that I just threw at you. So if there's questions, please let me know ASAP. Finally, that brings us to the final performance response of the year, or the final performance of the year, which is a play called One Man, Two Governors. It is actually an adaptation of an 18th century play by Carlo Goldoni, who was an Italian, not really Renaissance, but an Italian 18th century playwright who was extremely fond of Commedia dell'arte. Commedia dell'arte is a really fascinating and fun, and I mean actually fun, not, there's a lot of things that I find fun that you probably wouldn't find fun, but this is actually a really fantastic, dynamic, raucous, hilarious, but also kind of, um, uh, it can also be quite tender and quite heartwarming as well. Um, so, what I've offered you for this week to help you contextualize this performance, just as I did last week, I'm posting a PowerPoint. There is no audio with that PowerPoint, and it is an introduction to several things. It's an introduction to Commedia dell'arte. It's an introduction to the two kind of main characteristics of Commedia dell'arte, which are number one, that it is improvisational or was improvisational, and number two, probably most importantly for our purposes, is that it is based on character types. So there's these sort of known character types in Commedia dell'arte, and a lot of the humor comes from these characters kind of doing their thing, okay, doing their lazzi, as it was called in Italian. Lazzi is just a fancy Italian word that simply means bit or scene or vignette. Okay, this is where situation comedy comes from. In fact, if you look at sitcoms nowadays, a lot of the character types that you're going to see in that PowerPoint are probably going to sound a little bit familiar to you. Okay, both the foibles of these characters, but most importantly, the desires and characteristics of these characters. In addition to that PowerPoint, I have also posted a pair of videos that I hope will be helpful to you. They're really short. There is one that's about 9 minutes that comes from the National Theater. Some of you may have watched the design videos that were working in the theater or designing for the theater for the National Theater last week or 2 weeks ago when I talked about design. I encourage you to watch this. They're very, very brief, and they will increase your appreciation and nourish your understanding of One Man, Two Governors in a way that a lecture kind of can't. Okay, you have actors, you have teachers talking about this performance form and actor training with respect to these performance forms. There's another video that's a little bit shorter than that, and it actually has two performers, a male and a female performer, performing all these different characters and showing you kind of the physicality that's often associated with these characters and the humor and the desires that are often associated with these characters. The other thing that I will say is that in a lot of comedy, and Commedia dell'arte is kind of the innovator of this, comedy is about two things. It is about food and wanting to get food and being hungry, and sexual desire and wanting to, I won't even say it. I think you can guess. Okay, so that is it for this week. Take a look at those resources. If you all have questions or concerns, please do let me know. And I will see you again next week, probably in this very space. I'm actually in my attic right now. It's wonderful, beautiful light up here. I hope you all are doing well. Please email me if you have questions, concerns, or anything at all as we move into these final weeks and we meet some new challenges and new assessments coming up. Yeah, and please, if you have not emailed me with your refund information, email address, and address, please do that ASAP. Have a wonderful week, y'all.